What's up, everybody?
What's happening, family? So glad you're here today.
That's right.
Of course, like the phone is gonna ring as soon as we go live. Like, why is that? I don't even understand. We just trying to
Yeah, I'm
be,
not sure what's going on with
we
that.
just trying to mind our business,
That's right.
and then the phone start ringing when we go live, and we don't even go live like every day. But yeah, the phone is gonna start ringing. So here we are. Anyway,
So here we are,
here we are. hey,
and here
hey,
you are.
hey, hey, y'all, coming on into the room.
And if this is your first time with us, I am O.L. Buckley.
And I'm Sway Buckley.
That's right, of marriedpreneurlife.com. We are marriedpreneur life strategists.
Yes. So, in short, married entrepreneurs come to us to sync high level systems with laser clear strategy to build out their business legacy purposefully, powerfully, and profitably in sync. Hey, fam, I'm trying to like say hi to people in the comments while I'm talking to, but good to be here today. So today is Tuesday. Do y'all know what that means? You may not know what that means. What that means is we come on Tuesdays and we do our weekly legacy live
That's right.
because it's important to for us it's important anyway to come on and share different insights, strategies, and tools that we've learned, garnered, and used over the years to build multiple revenue streams with our businesses as marriedpreneurs. And as a married couple, it's so important that we're clear on what our priorities are, right? And we're not over here trying to strain our marriage on behalf of the business, but then at the same time, we don't want the business to be strained. So it's like, well, what do you do? How do you do all these things? So we are on this journey just as you, if you are to a marriedpreneur, or maybe you're aspiring. But real quick, because you may be like, okay, what exactly is a marriedpreneur, and how do I even know if I should say that's me, right? Get it? Valid question all day. So here's what we've seen. Your head is kind of cut off on the IG one. So maybe you need to move in closer.
Okay.
Closer.
Ouch. See?
Stay right there. No, you fighting. Okay. Well, we've realized over the last several years of this journey, building businesses, and we've been at this for a good, 10 years or so, full-time basis.
Just over 10.
Just over 10. So what we've realized is there is not a cookie cutter couple like a marriedpreneur couple. There are actually three different types of marriedpreneurs that we've noticed over the years. And what this means is that it's just a distinction. There's not one that's better than the other or this or that. It's not. It just is what it is. And you may be in one of those marriedpreneur types now, but then you may also be saying, you know what, but we're transitioning. We're about to slide on over to this type because this is not where it's at. We're ready to go to this. Or you may be like, no, this is where we are. We're good. That's fine. So real quick, we're going to share these three marriedpreneur types with you. We want you all to tell us though, like what your marriedpreneur type is so we can know in the comments. Okay, so the first marriedpreneur type that we're going to share with you is the spousalpreneur. The spousalpreneur is where one spouse is building the business as the entrepreneur and the other spouse is supporting that spouse who's building the business. So maybe that other spouse is doing a 9 to 5 or something else, but they're supporting. So they're not necessarily building the business with that spouse. Are any spousalpreneurs on here? If you are, drop an S, let us know. If you're a spousalpreneur.
Put your S in the comment.
S in the comments. And okay, going on next. The next marriedpreneur type.
Next marriedpreneur type is the indiepreneur. Indiepreneur is where the two of you may be building separate, distinct businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's common. We are indiepreneurs as well.
We are indiepreneurs. If you're an indiepreneur and you both are building individual separate businesses, let us know in the comments. You're going to drop an I for indiepreneurs, okay? Indiepreneurs, you're building separate businesses, not necessarily together.
You're doing it individually. Individual businesses.
Yes.
Yeah. And then lastly, that is the couplepreneurs. And couplepreneurs are where both of you are working together in the same business.
Yes.
Now, there's another category. So if you are a couplepreneur, drop a C in the comments.
C. Okay, we had some eyes coming. Hey, Jasmine, are you in Dallas? Are you in Texas today? Are you in California? So, guys, we're coming to you live from New Jersey today. We're in New Jersey, right on the Hudson. And so, like Sunday, we were in New York for church. That's how close we are. So we're in northern New Jersey. Now, let us know where you're coming from too. But while we're talking about that, Indy, drop an I for an Oh, you're in
She's in
Texas now.
Texas.
Okay. Drop an I for an indiepreneur. Drop an S for a spousalpreneur. And drop a C if you're the couplepreneurs. Okay. With that being said, we want to just let you know there are no two marriedpreneur couples that are exactly the same. Even if you're both spousal, even if you're both indie, even if you're
Yeah,
both couple.
yeah, for a host of reasons, but mainly you all are different people. You have different seasons with different giftings and different family dynamics. So no,
Lord
no two
knows.
marriedpreneur couples are the same.
Right. And case in point, so say for example, you're a spousalpreneur couple, and then you have another spousalpreneur couple. Well, the one spouse that is the entrepreneur in the business are they're the entrepreneurs in the business, but the other spouse who are supporting the entrepreneur in the business, one could be like, oh, I'm supporting you by helping you, do something in the business, hands-on. And then you could have another couple where they're spousalpreneurs, but that spouse was like, I'm not hands-on in the business. I'm hands-on at home, like in the sense of I'm going to help you with some things at home so I can free your hands to do some things in the business, right? Yep. So you're still working together. Like you're still building. It doesn't even matter if you're not in the same business. You're in the same legacy.
Yep, you don't have to be in the same business. You don't have to be in the same room. You don't have to be in the same office. You don't have to be in the same garage. But you're married.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have the same vision. You're building the same legacy ultimately, and so there's so many ways to support and to help you. So our godsons are watching.
Oh, our godsons are watching. Charlie
David, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, love you guys. Oh, we love you. Mwah. Everybody else getting that love too, right? Okay, so what we wanted to do today, with that being said, with just clarifying the different marriedpreneur types and saying, okay, no, there are no two marriedpreneur types, no two marriedpreneur couples that are the same. And this is important because it's real easy in these streets to start like comparing ourselves, to be like, well, they're doing this over there, or he's doing this for her, and then she's doing this for, and then you're like, you're not even, it's not the same. It's apples to oranges. You're not even the same at all. Not same tree, not same fruit. It's not the same. And so don't do that to yourself. Okay. But here are some things that we do want to give you some insights for exactly what you can do, regardless if you're an indie, spousal, or couplepreneur. Here are some really powerful tools that we've been using over the years as we've been growing and learning as marriedpreneurs. And so the first tool, when it comes to growing the business, whether you're doing, I say together because you're still building the business,
right.
And right. So whether it's like together or like together, you're still together as marriedpreneurs. So the first one is to have set office hours, but making sure that your spouse is aware of those set office hours.
Let me tell you something about that. So like a lot of times people think, because a lot of marriedpreneurs will work from home. Many marriedpreneurs have an office that they go to, what have you. But the point of the matter is that sometimes there's this assumption that as you all are building the business, that we don't need office hours because we're just sort of like all the time working. But that's another conversation, right? But office hours are boundaries, right, that help protect your marriage. But here's the other thing: having office hours and your spouse knowing and being aware of those office hours,
that part.
Your family being aware of those office hours,
that part,
because so many of you all are building businesses in your home and you got children there and whoever else is in the house, and a lot of times the assumption is, oh, you ain't working on nothing,
you ain't doing
or
nothing.
I can see you, so you're available.
No.
Just because you can see me across the room or you can hear my voice down the hall does not necessarily mean that I'm available. I'm working. I'm building this business. I'm at work. So this is the importance of having these office hours, because they set up boundaries for you to remind you, hey, I got to focus and dial in. But it also sends a signal to everybody else in the house. Oh, they are seriously legit building a business.
Yeah, because any other business gonna have office hours. So why wouldn't we have office hours, right? So being aware of that, but then also as marriedpreneurs, the importance of having those office hours is because when it's time to be on date night, that's not your office hours, right? We're not gonna have that date night turn into work 2.0, and then we start talking about all the things that we didn't talk about earlier. That doesn't mean you cannot mention work in that way, but that's not the whole topic of the conversation. That's not the topic of the conversation. So when we're dating, let us date. Let us talk about what we're doing, how we are, how we're growing. Okay. That's important, y'all, for real. Because we have been there where we ended up we turned into roommates, right? We just were all we knew was just business, and let's talk about business, business, business. And then before we knew it, we're like, wait, who were you again?
That's right.
Wait, we got married? We're married? Okay, and we didn't want to live. We didn't want to continue on like that. So we made changes. And so we want to help others not go in that direction as well. Okay, so set those office hours. And then the second thing with those office hours, and we're talking about growing the business, regardless if you're indie spousal or couplepreneurs as marriedpreneur types, it's about like, what do you do in those with those office hours, right? Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Are we like just playing around? Are we just like figuring out things? One of the things or strategies that we use and that we help our clients, our marriedpreneur couples use, is to make sure that you dissect those business hours into, we have two primary categories, and we teach on how to actually monetize no matter how much time you have for your business. And so that can be either like leaping or learning time. So you want to have that learning time, but you're actually investing in learning and growing in your craft. But then you also, the leaping time is the execution, or it's like working in the business versus working on the business.
Implementation.
Having both of those in there.
Yep. The difference between taking in information, but actually applying it, doing the implementation. Yes. And sometimes we can confuse learning with leaping. But you can learn all day, and never apply, and never really be building the business. So that's important.
And then look up a year or so later and like, well, how come are we growing? Like, what are we doing? Right. And then you have to look at, well, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, what's going on during your business hours? What kind of strategy is being executed? Are you learning strategy? Are you up leveling your strategy? Or is it the same strategy that you had last month, or last year rather? Like, is it the same, or are we growing or not? Like, what are we doing? And so being very intentional about that is key. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be a walk in the park or won't just be handed over to you in a super easy thing. It's going to require more discipline to actually learn more regarding your strategy, not trying to learn all the things, because that's not what we're talking about at all. That's for a whole nother live, but not learning all the things, but learning how and what it is that you're doing and bringing to the table that really separates you in your industry, that separates you from all the others who are doing something similar to what you're doing. Okay, so that's the second thing, making sure that you all are clear on what's going on during those office hours. Like, what types of steps are you taking? We did a live the other week to help with that. And I think I don't know what week that was, but we went over something called the revenue pie chart. And so it really helps you to know where you are and what items need to be done in order to increase, if you're not getting the sales that you want, where and how you need to be focusing your energy. So that is up on this page on one of these lives from a Tuesday, just so you know. Also, okay, the next tool I would say that we have used and we use on a daily basis are daily wealth roll combos. And that ties into our legacy meetings as well.
Yeah, so the wealth roll conversations are us talking about who's doing what, right? And so that gives us an opportunity to hold each other accountable as well as to support one another. So nobody's ambiguous about who's doing what. You don't look up and the day has gone by and it's like, no, what did you say you were doing today?
No.
Okay. So what the wealth rolls does is it puts the person best suited in a particular task or assignment, and they're driving that task. They're leading that task. That then creates an opportunity for the other spouse to support in any way that is needed.
Yeah.
But when we are in our wealth roles, number one, we're working together more effectively because we've got proficiency.
Amen.
The best person for the best task. But then the other part of that is that we're actually having more fun, because generally speaking, the things we do well are the things we enjoy the most as it pertains to building the business.
That part. I think we often overlook the things that we enjoy, and we end up doing and spending the majority of our time on things that have to get done versus the things that we get to get done, like we get to do. And there's a difference of expectation and output and execution when you actually enjoy the work that you're doing. So when we're talking about the wealth roles, though, one of the things that have helped us and do continue to help us is having that, we call it a principal. Somebody's going to be in charge of something. Like, nobody is just like, nothing is just left up in the air. Like, well, I thought you were going to do. It's none of that. But just checking in on that part, that is key. Another area, though, that I would say that is not so tangible, that is also very powerful, is checking in emotionally on each other. How can I support you today? How can I help you today? What, and that doesn't mean I may or may not have the capacity to do everything that you may mention, but if I just start having this conversation and you know that I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about how can I assist you? How can I be of service to you today? I mean, we're in service to one another as marriedpreneurs. We're one flesh, as a married couple, period. And so asking that simple question, how can I help you today? What does that look like for you? Because it may look different today than it did yesterday. It really makes a world of difference as we're thinking about one another and reminding each other that we're not just business partners, but we're first a married couple. So implementing those daily wealth roles is key. And then the fourth area or tool that is super helpful is awareness. You want to go over that one?
Yeah, awareness of your seasons. This is really important, because if we're not aware of our seasons, then we'll try to do things out of season. And that's a way to frustrate ourselves, frustrate our spouse, frustrate our family, be frustrated in business. And so if this is not a season for A or B, then we need to be focusing on C and D, because it is a season for that. And so we want to be mindful of the seasons that we're in life, that our family dynamics, maybe, there's a transition happening with family, living in the home, that's going to require more time from one person versus the other. Maybe children are going from one grade to the next. There's a big difference between going from middle school to high school, or from high school to college. And so children are coming, right? So there's all kinds of things that happen in our lives that change the seasons that we're in. And we just want to respond responsibly and in a way that doesn't stifle the building of the business, but doesn't frustrate any other aspect of life unnecessarily. And this is the way to get out in front of it. And sometimes you got to step back, because you don't know what season you're in, because sometimes we're so immersed in it. So this is a great time for the two of you to sit back and just take an audit and say, okay, where are we right now?
What are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? It's really key, because oftentimes what we can find ourselves doing is expecting to have the same level of capacity that we did in the previous season, in the new season. And oftentimes as season shifts, so does our capacity. Why? Because our focus shifts. And when our focus shifts, we are no longer focusing on the thing maybe that we used to focus on in that same way. And now we don't have capacity for that thing, because we don't have focus for it, because that's not the priority any longer. But if we don't really realize that and become aware of that, we can continue on as if nothing has changed. And what does that do? That creates a cycle of frustration. So as you're building business and thinking like, wait, we were doing this in this way before, but now, like, why is this so heavy to lift? Why is this so heavy to carry? Why is it so heavy to push out? Well, you need to take a step back and look at that. Has a grace lifted for that? Or are you just trying to force it now just because that's how it's always been, and you just figure that's just how it will always be? Things are constantly changing. Life is constantly changing. Our seasons are changing, and our ability and our capacities and our focus is changing based on what the priorities are today. And so being aware of that as marriedpreneurs is key, especially to keep things at bay. When I say that, I mean more so like walking in peace as we're building, and just being able to be more patient as we're building as well too, and realizing that we have to adapt, and we have to adapt quickly. So that's the fourth tool. The last and final tool that we want to share with you all today is investing in yourselves individually, ourselves, investing in our business on a regular basis. And that would be with mentors. That means also with books. That means with experiences, investing and taking new risks on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's
an investment.
That is an investment
as well.
Yeah. And you have to see it that way. Otherwise you'll look at it as an expense, and we're inclined to put off expenses. But this is really an investment, because you got to ask yourself, how does this accelerate me? How does this help to collapse time for me? How does this get me the information that could really give me the kind of leap, give us the kind of leap in our business that we say that we want? And a lot of times what separates us between here and there is the information that we have, the knowledge that we have, the experience that we have. And so
Or don't
investing in
have.
yourself, and in particular with mentors who can really help coalesce and help you appropriate
Mm,
wisdom as you
yeah.
build, you'll be able to execute more effectively than you would had you not.
Yeah, and we found over the years that there are not a lot of experiences or opportunities that are already curated and created for specifically the marriedpreneur couple, right? And this is really the reason why we started, not even realizing it was not our intention to start off working with couples at all.
Mhm.
Actually, I was like, no, that's not even what we do. But yet here we are, 10 years in. So we are, being obedient in that. And one of the resources that we've created specifically for marriedpreneurs and the unique challenges and opportunities that we're presented with on a regular ongoing basis is the Love and Launch Crash Course. And so the Love and Launch Crash Course is truly a cohort experience that is coupled with a VIP one-on-one or two-on-two strategic experience as well, ultimately to help couples get their starter systems in place. So you're clear on how you're running the business on a day-to-day, whether you're indie spousal or couplepreneur, marriedpreneur types, and then having an opportunity to grow in community, in an intimate community, in a cohort of other like-minded married entrepreneurs, and walking through a step-by-step process, proprietary process that we have that literally guarantees to increase your clientele within 30 days. Like, our whole goal is not just for you to make more sales. That is definitely a guarantee in it. But ultimately with that is to have sustainability. So you're not stressed out, drained, and overwhelmed while you're making those sales, right?
Mhm.
So you're clear on what those priorities are. You're clear on how you all are working together, even if you're not working together. Like, even if you're not in the same business in that way, you're still, once again, building the same legacy. And so for us, having an opportunity to walk a group of married entrepreneur couples through this process of getting results is literally life-changing. And just to see the testimonials, to hear the breakthrough stories of what has happened in literally 30 days from starting out with an idea. We have so many couples that start with an idea, or they're starting the business, but they're not monetized. They're not making money. They don't have the clients that they want. We've had couples start off with one thing, thinking they're going to do one thing, even like in coaching with other couples, and then they end up they're with their own like streaming platform with like impacting tens of thousands of families now with that first idea. Like, that's what they're doing now. And then we have other couples who started and stopped many times before even coming to us. So they felt like failures, but when they came to us, they realized that there was something that they needed that they still didn't know, and then was able to take their employer, the wife's employer, and turn that employer into into a client of their business, doing the same exact thing, but now able to increase their income just because of the positioning and understanding the value that they're bringing to the marketplace. Like, we were talking to another couple who just did the Love and Launch Grow Your Business Challenge that we did last week, and they're photographers, and they were just saying, because we gave them an opportunity, like a hot seat, like, this is what we would recommend. You need to have a subscription model where you're always having clients paying you on a regular basis. And we gave them this concept, and they were like, I never even thought about that. But that's the thing, like,
and how that will work,
and how that will work for their business. Like, when you're in it, it's hard to see because you're just in it. And so you need mentors and counselors, people who are more experienced and who really have your best interests at heart, to say, hey, you're leaving all this money on the table right here. You may want to check this out, and not only check it out, but let me show you how to check it out. Like, let me show you how to jump into it. So that's what the Love and Launch Crash Course is all about. There is a link in the bio so you can get details. It is by application only, because we do want to have that opportunity to chat with you and to make sure that you're clear and we're clear on what your goals are over the next 30 days. But I promise you, that is our guarantee. And we have lived up to that guarantee to make sure that you have increased clientele literally within those 30 days or less. Usually it happens around the second week when it starts to really take off. But with that being said, you can go to the link in the bio, or you can head to marriedpreneursecrets.com. We can put that in the link in the comments as well too. But today is the last day to apply to be a part of an intimate Love and Launch cohort, and that is for our spring cohort. So we want let's do a real quick recap for you all. We have 5 tools, regardless if you're indie spouse or a couplepreneurs, that you can take advantage of and that you would want to take advantage of as you're building your business. So the first one is making sure that you have those set office hours, right? And the second one, and then your spouse is aware.
That's right.
You got to know, and I got to know, like, what we're doing, what
That's
you're
right.
doing, what I'm doing. And secondly, what you're actually doing in those office hours.
Yep. How are you spending? How are you utilizing that time? And are you utilizing it effectively?
Yeah. So that's leaping or learning.
Yes.
Or are you in the business and working on the business and in the business?
Right.
Like having both of those, but understanding the ratio that it needs to be in order to have the most output from that time. Okay, to optimize your time. And then of course daily wealth roles, and that ties into your
who's doing what, and making sure that you have a principle and a support, so that the best person for the particular task is getting that task accomplished.
And then awareness of your seasons as they change, because they do all the time, and tweaking as they change.
Bandwidth moves with demand.
Bandwidth moves with demand. So we're not out here trying to be stressed and overwhelmed and overworked. And we're not doing all that and anxious. That's not even the way to build. So there's a better way, but awareness is the first step. And then lastly is making sure that you're investing, and you invest with mentors who will walk you through that process. And that's what we recommend, of course. I mean, we may be biased, but I think we should be, because it really is an amazing opportunity. The Love and Launch Crash Course. Okay. And you can find more details to apply for Love and Launch cohort at marriedpreneursecrets.com. Link is in the bio as well too. But hopefully this has been helpful. These tools have been helpful for you. We look forward to serving you all, to helping you as you grow, especially those who are ready to go. The Love and Launch Crash Course is for you. Over the next 30 days, you will absolutely see increase. That is our guarantee. So until next time,
keep living purposefully,
powerfully, and profitably in sync. All right. Peace out, y'all. Oh, you got to get that one too. That's right.